Will Nvidia mark a major top in the stock market? Let's get into it here today. It is Wednesday, August 27th, 2025. If you like the video, give it a like. Come find me on carnivoretrades.com for swing trading alerts analysis and live day trading. Also, there might be a hype button. I don't know if it's there yet, but if you guys use one of those, that would be also very much appreciated if you do like the content, because that's YouTube's new metric. I don't know if it's available there now, but I have it enabled. So if you can see it, that'd be great. Anyways, let's get into it here today. I'm doing the video obviously before Nvidia earnings. It's about a little quarter after 3 here. I'm going to be traveling early tomorrow morning. I've got some stuff to do tonight. And quite frankly, I want to say a few things here. It doesn't really matter, honestly. I know it's the title of the video here, and maybe it does. Maybe you could see a gap and crap. Maybe it just dumps out. We have about a 6%. There's a 6% move baked in, but the real range is actually 160 to 200. That's like the real tail range. But for right now, it's like 170 to 190. So, I mean, there's a chance you could see, the last couple of times we have had kind of those kind of gap and crap moves on Nvidia, and it has happened before. But I just want to say there's a lot of noise going on with this right now, and everybody's acting as if this either has to mark the high or it's going to spark a move straight to 6,800 with no pullbacks. I'm going to just say this right now. So, I started getting bearish very recently, and really the bear kind of case here is that I just don't see hedges past 6,500. We're at the max range of where the market is, the max expected move, and I don't see us going much past that. And recently just started to kind of get into shorts, and I spent the last 2 years, just in case you're new, I spent the last 2 years keeping people away from shorts, keeping away from people nuking their portfolio. And now I'm getting more pushback now than I've gotten in a long time, a really long time. And it's very interesting to me, especially considering, not to bring it up again, but it's being brought up a lot, especially considering, for 2 months, I said, look, the Russell's going to break out. It's going a lot higher. And, I was very much ridiculed for saying that. Now, everybody wants the Russell. Everybody's praising the breadth expansion. As much as this is exactly how it's, how the market has kind of put in the top, over the last couple of years, right? The Qs make a high, they make a lower high, right? The Qs make a high, they make a lower high. The spiders make a high, they make a higher high. The spiders make a high, they make a higher high. The Russell, right, is laggard the whole time, and anybody who's long is made fun of, and then it breaks out, and then it marks the top, and then it breaks out, and then it marks the top. So, I mean, this is really pretty much the same setup here. So, again, I'm not saying the market can't go higher here, but again, I don't see any hedging increasing past 6,500, which is what I've seen every single time we've broken through any one of these ceilings in the longest recent memory. All these call walls here at 6,000, right? We saw this eat away for a long time, and we saw dealers start to push that risk higher. That's not happened yet, and there's still tails down, left tails, not right. Left tails lower here into the end of the week. So, maybe those disappear after Nvidia, or maybe we just, it's possible we could just grind out here. We could get both scenarios where the market doesn't go anywhere, but we don't really go down either. I'm kind of thinking that's much less likely, especially since we're coming into September, which, historically volatility does tend to come back around that time. And you're actually seeing, even though we got kind of a little pump here, somebody came in and used the futures to push this off here. So there has been some push off there, but I find it right now, emotions are really running high, and again, I'm getting a lot of pushback here. As somebody who was basically I was begged to short the market for a long time, and now that I'm actually getting kind of bearish for once, it's people are scared, and I keep hearing this number. I don't know why it's coming up all of a sudden. I don't know if it's being pushed out by Tom Lee or whatever, but everybody's like assuming that 6,800 is just, it's a foregone conclusion within the next like 2 weeks or something. Like we're going to have this big blow off event. It's always possible. I just personally have not seen, I just don't see the hedges there right now. And I've seen them every single time we've moved past. So right now, you know, I'll see it when I believe it. I don't think there's a ton of risk here. I mean, you know, shorting at this area here, you have a, you can, if you wanted to just short it on 6,500 on a weekly close, you can do that. And I'm not saying we can't go through 60, you know, 6,500. You know, we went through 6,100 a few times, right? Back in, you know, December, Feb, and then December, Jan, and Feb. But notice how there's a reason why 6,100 was rejected so many times, and it's kind of the same reason why we're not able to get through this one right here. So we'll see what happens. You know, again, it's right now. There's a lot of noise out there with Nvidia, with the earnings. Everybody acts as if like, you know, and the reason why I don't even care to do this after the bell anyway is if we go down, everybody will just say, oh, it's just a dip buy. And if we go up, they'll say, see, I told you it's going higher. So it doesn't really matter. We're not going to change anyone's opinion until the market actually moves here. But nonetheless, market started out today with a quick little dip buy. We had a level there on the futures this morning. I did not take it. I was hoping that we could get a little bit lower, but we pierced about 64.75 area, and you know, it went up here, a little pullback, up again, pullback. So it does appear like we'll try to test 65 at some point, but again, that's obviously going to take Nvidia's help at this stage of the game. A lot of other stuff going on though. I'm kind of trying to keep the video on the short side because it doesn't really matter, again, like what else really happens here. Nvidia is going to dominate the headlines afterwards, but you can see here another thing. Again, the Qs, lower highs, not really a good thing in a bull market. Again, I know everybody's going to come out and say, well, the breadth is, you know, broadening out. Well, that's what happens at, you know, at the highs, right? That's how you get short seller capitulation. That's why I've been banging my fist on the table for the IWM to rally for so long. By the way, there is still, you know, a right tail on the IWM to 240 for this week. So maybe it goes up there. Maybe we hold up. Maybe we just stick to 6,500 until the end of the week, and maybe we see some downside next week. It's possible. So I also think it's a little, I don't know, it's a little obvious if we just like do the same exact thing that we did last year, right? So last year we had Jackson Hole, it was right about here. And then there was the Friday before Labor Day, and then that was September 3rd, you know, the first of the month. And we had that nice little dip there. So I don't know, we'll see one way or the other here. I'm not going to, you know, if we end up pumping here, and if we close above 6,500 tomorrow, I'm not going to instantly like say like, okay, that's it, it's all over. You know, because these things tend to like, when the market puts in a high, it's a lot harder than a low, right? The lows are easy to find, right? Tops are more of a process here. It does take some time sometimes. But yeah, the bottom line is I still don't see the change here in the downside and in the upside hedging. I see we're at the upper expected move, and there's other strikes that are much lower. So those could get hit if you hit the top end too soon. But anyway, Q's here up a massive 42 cents. So I know it's crazy, but that's happening. IWM up $1.50, Dow up $1.67. We got SMH here flat. IGV had a good bid here. MongoDB obviously, huge move there. Wow, up 37. That's going to 300 easily, which it's almost there now. So nice job on MDB. Transports here on the weaker side today, just flat. So nothing really spectacular there. It looks now like Trump is going to try and stack the Fed next year, which is something I talked about over the last couple of days. And you can see the 2-year likes it, obviously. 10s and 30s are up a little bit too. Actually, the ZB is not, though. Sorry, they're on the futures, they're green, but ZB technically flat here. Again, I think if you want to hedge against this like megalomania, you know, nothing stops this train, gold is a way better hedge than long end yields. long end yields, again, I mean, we're getting this Venezuela type like fiscal policy right now, and that's the reason why the long end is having trouble here. Even if the twos get a bid, right, that doesn't mean the long end has to rally. And I feel like people hear me say that and it just goes in one ear and out the other. But you can see here, TLT is red. Shouldn't it be green today? It's been red each of the last 3 days, and that's after the Fed. Gold, on the other hand, is green 3 out of the last 4 days. It has been a much, 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 much better hedge, and it should continue. And by the way, all that OI yesterday that I talked about at 320, 319, that converted, or I should say volume converted to OI. So there's a lot of gamma exposure up there. I don't know, maybe somebody knows something's going to happen. Maybe Nvidia is a red herring here. So that definitely catches my interest, and I don't think it's a hedge because you wouldn't go $10 out of the money and use 5 times the open interest with volume. That's pretty incredible. So we'll see what happens. But yeah, rates here down on the short end. XHB flat, IYR. That caught a little bit of a bid today. Got a nice inside bar. On the daily, XLF up 19 cents. Tom Lee loves his financials here. And yeah, XLF acting well. KRE up 44. Starting to come into some resistance though. Broker dealers flat on the day, flat to lower. Oil caught a little bit of a bid. Still not really doing much though. And XLE on the other hand, that did catch a nice break. So there we go. Finally, oil. Oh my goodness. So that's how you know. Yeah, that's how you know the rally's broadening out. If XLE is up here, yeah, I mean that's like a new like quarterly high basically on XLE. So good move there. XOP, there's your little breakout. OIH, slight higher highs. Let's see if it can close the week above the 200 for once. It's been rejected all year. Dollar index flat. So nothing doing there. We mentioned gold. Silver here. A new contract on this. I think gold will have a new contract tomorrow, by the way. So interesting how that lines up near that 320, you know, that expiration Friday. But yeah, silver caught a bid. It dipped early and then it caught a bid. Those first days on the new contract can be a little wacky, but bottom line, it has a bull inside bar here on the daily, and it's got a bull inside bar on the weekly. So no changes there. Platinum, no changes. Palladium, trying to hang on. Copper, new contract as well. This might see some volatility now that we finally have a roll over, you know, a new contract roll. All right. Lastly, Bitcoin and Ethereum. Bitcoin holding the 110 area. So again, previous all-time high. Bounce off of that, and we'll leave it at that for now. ETH was up earlier. It did come back in just a little bit, but still no changes on the daily. This is still hanging in there. I know I got a lot of day trading lines on there, but you can see it's, you know, it's holding up fine. Bull inside bar until proven otherwise. So anyway, yeah, we'll see what happens. Again, like, don't get too euphoric or too depressed one way or the other. Emotions will kill you in this business, and I see a lot of that right now. You know, regardless of which way Nvidia goes here, the market is very good at painting things and making people get emotional. So, but yeah, anyway, we'll see what happens here. Yeah, 650 up there. It's not that far away. 648 is another level that does coincide with 6,500, which has not been hit yet, so it might get hit after hours. If we start to drop, though, you know, your left tail tomorrow is 640. I don't expect that to happen, but it's definitely a possibility. So, anyways, guys, I'll wrap up here. Again, you guys take care. Come find me on carnivoretrades.com. I'll see you guys all tomorrow.